What's happening, Hardwood Heroes fans? We may have only 2 weeks left in our show, but the teams left in the tournament are hoping for many more. I'm your host, Sean Neidig. Both the boys and girls are inching closer to Columbus. We have a lot to update you on, so without any hesitation, let's tip it off. Before we get any further, I'm joined by our online hosts, Danny Dean and Josh Gregory. Guys, we have a lot of teams still playing, but we know that some seasons have ended. We're going to have updates on all of that. So what do we have coming up later in our show?
The numbers are dwindling, Sean. A lot of teams met the end of their season this week.
That's right, but our reporters are still on top of all the action. Matt Cudahy has the updates in Buckeye Land. The girls entered the second round on a strong foot, and the boys are out. And sticking with the TVC Ohio, Meg's reporter Clark Woolley tells us how the boys just snuck into the second round, and he'll recap the girls' season.
The Federal Hawking boys did not have the same luck. Kellyanne Stitch will tell you why they fell in the first round, and one Waterford player is making a name for herself. Tony Heim will tell you how this Lady Wildcat is carrying on the Drayer dynasty.
The Vinton County boys punched their tickets to the Convo with their win over Warren, and despite their great season, the girls are out. Nolan Walker will tell you exactly how this happened, and both Athens boys and girls suffered early losses in the postseason. Blake Baker will rehash their first-round losses.
Trimble reporter Nick Niehaus explains how the Tomcats ended the regular season in a nail-biter win, and he'll review the girls' season. Eastern reporters Joe Fracasso and Ryan Lewis will give you a glance at the boys' first-round loss, as well as the girls' postseason run.
The Alexander girls entered the second round after a big win. Joseph Payton talks about their time in the tournament. He'll also outline the guys' 2 postseason wins. And to round out the show, we'll be back for our favorite part when we announce the Heroes of the Week. But Josh, I'm sad to say this is our last picks of the season.
You know, I agree. I've had a fun time crowning our heroes, but don't forget, we will be revealing our all-hero teams next week.
Thanks, Danny and Josh. Can't wait to see who makes those all-hero teams, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. There are still the Heroes of the Week to look forward to. Here to see who made that cut, be sure to stick around until the end of the show to find out. The Nelsonville York Lady Buckeyes enjoyed some time off this past week, but the girls will be back in action on Monday against North Adams. NY reporter Matt Cudahy joins the desk now. And Matt, how has Coach Whiteman had the Lady Buckeyes preparing for the Lady Green Devils?
Yeah, NY has definitely enjoyed their time off after a hectic stretch the last couple weeks of the regular season, but they're also very ready to get back out there and keep their season alive. As for a game plan for North Adams, Whiteman said that he was able to scout the Lady Green Devils a couple times, and that the team believes the key to this game will be pushing the tempo and getting the ball up the court quickly and in transition, forcing the Lady Green Devils to get back on defense.
Kaylin Hurd has been playing some of her best basketball of the season lately. How important is she to NY's success?
Hurd might be the most important piece to this puzzle. If she can continue to dominate in the paint like she has been, then that brings a whole new dimension to the Buckeye offense. With a plethora of options on the outside with Jessie Addis, Cameron Dupler, Hannah Taylor, having that scoring option down low is a whole new dimension. It's also important that the Lady Buckeyes utilize her in transition because her ability to run the floor as a big is unmatched. If NY ends up going on a deep postseason run, then look towards the seniors and Hurd for being the big reason why.
Yeah, now the Lady Buckeye season may be alive and well, but the boys, their year is over after losing to Ironton. That was a 58-38 loss on Wednesday. What was the reason to yet another disappointing season for the Buckeyes?
Yeah, after finishing 8-13 last year, the Buckeyes were really hoping to bounce back, but it only got worse as they dropped to 6-16 this year. I really believe the reason for this team's struggles has to be attributed to the inability of the role players to step up when needed. The 2 clear stars of this team are Aaron Davis and Hunter Edwards, but other than those 2, no one else was able to consistently provide help, and particularly on the offensive end. Most of the team's possessions ended in either Edwards taking a difficult isolation shot or Davis bullying his way into the paint for an off-balance layup. If the Buckeyes just had a couple wing players who could knock down 2 or 3 three-pointers a game, then this team could very well still be playing. Now, I will give them credit. No matter how unmatched they were, they always came into the game ready to battle and fight until the end. And that's something that Coach Klein definitely appreciated.
We lost the game because we didn't hit enough shots. And as a coach, you can always handle that. I mean, that's the way the game is. You put that leather ball through an iron hoop, whoever does it most wins. Well, that doesn't always measure what your team has been able to accomplish. So I'm very proud of my team's effort tonight, and I'm really very proud of them for the whole season.
With only one senior graduating, Coach Klein and the Buckeyes are hoping to learn from this season and bounce back to better form.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get back to their success that they've had a couple years ago. Thanks, Matt. For the up to the second tournament updates from the Convo to Columbus, the only place to go is our Twitter page at Hardwood Heroes. Follow us for in-game updates of every TVC tournament team, as well as video and written recaps of those games. This week, we also want to hear who you think should earn a coveted spot on our all-hero team. The Megs Marauders were the number 4 seed in District 2 and went up against evenly matched Logan Elm this past Wednesday. Clark Woolley joins me now on the side set. And Clark, did the Marauders do enough to advance and face Fairfield Union?
Yeah, Sean, Megs did just enough to get past 5th-seeded Logan Elm to capture a sectional title and set up a matchup with the Fairfield Union Falcons, the number 1 seed in their bracket. Now, Logan Elm beat Fairfield Union earlier this season, so the Marauders came into this game throwing seeding out the window. To be expected, the two teams went back and forth all game long as it came down to the final seconds of the game where Caleb Sheets made a layup with 2.8 seconds remaining to sink Logan Elm and extend the Marauders' season at least one game longer. Sheets wasn't alone as Colton Lilly and Luke Musser each put in double-digit efforts with 14 and 17 points respectively. Musser's hot shooting carried into the postseason as he shot 5 of 8 from downtown. However, concern for Megs going forward is a leg injury that Musser sustained with a little over 3 minutes remaining, forcing him to miss the remainder of the game. Without Musser, Megs would need to rely on an area of their game that has been inconsistent all season long, and that would be free throw shooting. In the end, Megs was just able to do enough to survive and advance, and it might not have been pretty, but a win's a win in the playoffs, Sean. That's all that matters.
Absolutely, Clark. Now, the Lady Marauders have been out of action since last week's defeat in Devin County. Despite the loss, did Megs do anything in that game that really grabbed your attention?
Although the Lady Marauders suffered defeat, I think Megs played one of its best games of the season. The Lady Marauders put up a season-high 68 points against Wahama, and that hot shooting carried into their matchup against Benton County. Devin Humphreys, Madison Hendricks, and Cassidy Bensing used the long ball to spark an 18-2 run earlier in the game and kept Megan in contention for all 32 minutes. On the defensive side of the ball, the much shorter Lady Marauders held their own as Humphreys owned the paint all night long, finishing with 8 blocks. Sean, despite the loss, the Lady Marauders showed improvement on both the offensive and defensive end, and as a coach, that's all you can really ask for.
It's absolutely right, Clark. Thanks for the great work. Playoff games for the TVC may be in full swing, but federal hockey season came to an end on Tuesday after the St. Joe Flyers beat the Lancers 63-50. So Fed Hockey reporter Kellyanne Sitz joining me now. Kellyanne, where did the Lancers fall?
Well, Sean, the Lancers were leading all the way up until the 4th quarter, and just like their sister team, they succumbed to the 4th quarter curse. FedHawk started off strong, especially on the defensive end. In the first half, the Lancers forced 8 St. Joe turnovers and held them 8 of 22 shooting. One particular problem that had plagued the Lancers all season ended up being their downfall Tuesday night: foul trouble. By the end of the first half, AJ Cobb had 3 fouls alone, and most of the Flyers' points came from free throws. FedHawk was up by as many as 13 in the 3rd quarter, but as soon as that 4th hit, it was a lost cause. The Lancers just could not make any shots inside the paint or from behind the arc, and senior AJ Cobb fouled out with just 3 minutes left in the game.
So foul trouble troubled them all season long, but their defense, they were strong on defense in the start of this one. And how did it hold up for the entire game, though?
Federal Hawking put up a fight during the game, but the Flyers fought harder. St. Joe kept attacking FedHawk's interior defense, which has been a weak spot for the team this season. Constant interior pressure drew fouls and free throws, and the Flyers knocked down 28 of their 34 free throws, and those easy points counted in the end.
So the Lancers fought a hard game that night, but who showed up to really put the points on the board?
AJ Cobb, who has been a great asset to the team his entire high school career, only scored 10 points Tuesday. And unfortunately, it was his last game, along with seniors Ryan Harvey, Carter Russell, and Jason Gillian. But another Lancer stepped up that game, and he was Jared Hawk, who scored 11 points for the Lancers. But both players combined were no match for the Flyers, who definitely brought their ammo that night. And their biggest weapon was Flyer standout Chase Walters, who scored 29 points and had 11 rebounds.
Yeah, a great game by him, and I know it's never easy ending your season on a loss, but thanks, Kellyanne. In addition to Twitter, you can get live look-ins to tournament games by adding us on Snapchat under the username Hardwood Heroes. Our reporters will also give you in-game updates, and you may even get behind-the-scenes looks at our show. Waterford, Ohio is home to one of the best basketball teams in the state and one fantastic family of basketball players. Reporter Tony Heim is here, and Tony, you visited the Drayer home this week.
You know, Sean, 4 of Waterford's 9 1,000-point scores were raised under that roof. It truly is remarkable to hear just how much basketball means to the Drayers.
Been a rough year and a half, maybe 2 years, yeah. And without them, I struggled. I would have struggled heavily, yeah.
On March 16, 2015, in the state semifinals, Danny Drayer became the 9th Waterford Wildcat to score her 1,000th career point. Danny completed the cycle for the Drayer Quartet, joining her sisters Haley, Jessie, and Brooke in the exclusive club.
Well, that morning I woke up like we were getting ready to get on the bus, and my dad woke me up, and he was sitting on my bed crying. He's like, I don't want to tell you this. And I was like, what do you mean you won't want to tell me this? He's like, I got to tell you. I was like, okay. He goes, you're 11 points away from your 1,000th point. And he goes, that would be so cool if you scored there. And I was like, okay.
I never figured I would have all 4. I mean, it got to be a lot of pressure as, you know, like Haley got it and Jessie got it and then Brooke gets it. And it's like she's like, I got to get it now. So, you know, it just puts a lot of pressure. Just imagine if one of them didn't get it.
Danny was able to reach the milestone in less than 3 seasons. The Lady Wildcats went on to lose in the state championship game, creating a new target for Danny and the rest of the team.
We want that state title, and we want to cut nets down there instead of at Meg's.
You got to work hard for it. You got to earn it. But you got to respect the game too. You got to respect the coaches. You got to respect the other players. It teaches you lessons in getting along with everyone in life.
Great story out in Waterford. Thanks, Tony. If you follow the links posted on Twitter, you will find video recaps of every game with our reporters from the gym or right here in our studio over on our YouTube page, WEB PBS. You can also rewatch your favorite segments from the show this year and full episodes, including the one that you're watching right now. Both Vinton County teams captured regular season TVC Ohio championships, but that all goes out the window in the postseason. I'm joined by Vinton County reporter Nolan Walker. And Nolan, those titles don't scare anyone in the tournament.
That's right, Sean. The boys won an outright conference title while the girls earned a share of the crown. But first with the boys, they entered the tournament as a number 3 seed and had a tough test when they took on the Sheridan Generals on Tuesday. The Vikings emerged victorious with a 61-52 W. Shout out to Jordan Albright. He took home a double-double, recording 26 points and 10 rebounds. Vinton County defended the paint very well against a tall Sheridan team as the Vikings advanced to play the Warren Warriors Friday night. And this matchup came down to the final seconds as the Vikings won 54-52. Tristan Bartow was the big man on the floor, scoring 15 points. He also drove down the court, assisting Chase Wood on the go-ahead score with 2 seconds left. Next up for the Vikings will be the winner of Uni-Odo and Chillicothe.
And the Lady Vikings closed their door on the season Saturday, Nolan. Sheridan has one specific player who Vinton County was hoping to shut down.
Well, Sean, Vinton County's focus coming into this game was to contain Sheridan senior Katrina Shervant, and they did accomplish that. The Lady Vikings held a 6'4" senior to only 6 points in the entire game, all of which were scored in the 4th quarter. The Lady Vikings' downfall came in their inability to convert off turnovers as they fell 53-49 to the Lady Generals. They forced so many turnovers but were unable to execute after the fact. The Star Vikings, who we've been mentioning all season, Michaela Puckett and Jalen Hale, scored a combined 29 points in the contest. Although their efforts fell short, Coach Rod Bentley said after the game that these two built a great foundation for the program. People have started to refer to Vinton County as Title Town, with the boys and girls winning titles this year, and they hope to continue owning that name in future seasons.
A lot of success out there. Thanks, Nolan. A loss on Tuesday meant that the Athens Bulldogs officially closed up shop for the year. So Athens reporter Blake Baker is here with me now. Blake, what happened on Tuesday?
Athens hasn't played with much consistency since losing Griffin Lutz. And it was obvious Tuesday when Warren doubled up the Bulldogs 66-33 to bring the Bulldogs season to an end. Now, Warren's offense could not be stopped. It racked up a 21-point lead by the end of the 1st quarter, and the Bulldogs could not recover. Athens shot a measly 16% from three-point land, and 18 turnovers resulted in few consistently good looks. Athens also got out-rebounded and sent Warren to the foul line 17 times.
And it was a rough night for Athens beyond the box score even.
Yeah, the Bulldogs were definitely hurting before Tuesday even rolled around. Logan Maxfield separated his shoulder in the game against Alexander, Robert Dickelman played with strep throat, and Zacchaeus Saltzman battled a sprained ankle from the game against NY and pneumonia. Athens limped into this game against Warren, and the outcome was exactly what you'd expect with such a beat-up group. Coach Skinner said after the game that he thinks his guys just ran out of gas, and it showed. It would have been awesome to see some sort of Jordan flu game-like performance out of this group, but realistically, the team battled pretty well through adversity all year long. It would have been fun to see them at full strength at this time of year, though.
Yeah, certainly a tough break for the boys, but the girls' season ended even earlier. So what can they take away from this year?
One positive takeaway from the season is that above all else, they made an effort to get their younger girls experience. These seniors didn't have the success they've had in the past, but they should be proud of how well they prepared this young squad for seasons to come.
So what will that Athens squad likely look like next year?
Well, Olive Harder and Kat Cretell will be the returning starters, and they both played key roles down the stretch of the season. Cretell became an asset down low, while Harder became a solid scoring option for the Lady Bulldogs. Alexis McCollum even told me Harder would sometimes run point in practice against McCollum, and those reps will definitely benefit the freshman. Lauren Abdella and Lily Mills both added good minutes for the Lady Bulldogs off the bench, and those two will also be key returners for this team. Overall, this was a disappointing year for the Athens girls, but they can hang their hat on the fact they really prepared themselves to return to the level of success they're used to in the coming years.
All right, we'll see if they can accomplish that maybe as early as next year. Thanks, Blake. Still to come on our show, Joe Fracasso and Ryan Lewis will let us know if the Eastern Eagles are soaring through the postseason, plus an update on the Alexander Spartans tournament battles from Joseph Payton. And Danny and Josh will reveal their final Hero of the Week picks. Ups and downs have defined the Trimble Lady Tomcats season, and things weren't any different in the playoffs. Trimble reporter Nick Niehaus joins me now. And Nick, everyone knows that what goes up must come down.
Yeah, it's been one roller coaster of a season for the Lady Tomcats, and it continued as they bowed out in the second round of the tournament. Nikki Kish was the perfect example of this roller coaster ride, as she would be unstoppable in some games and almost non-existent in others. She was, however, the main reason for the Lady Tomcats' success. Morgan Murphy was the next piece of the puzzle, adding another dimension to the offense, spreading the floor out and giving an outside shooting presence. The Lady Tomcats remained inconsistent throughout the entire year, and Coach Richards had a tough time in the beginning of the season as the new coach, but settled in the best he could before ending the season 12-12 after a loss to Belpre in the second round of the tournament, 47-42. It was a disappointing end to a hopeful season for Coach Richards and the rest of the Lady Tomcats.
So as the girls' postseason hopes come to an end, the boys, they come alive this week. What's in store for them?
The boys take on Ireton St. Joe Tuesday, and after the kind of game they had last week, they have to be pumped up for the postseason. It was a rocking gym last Tuesday as conference championship implications were on the line against the Belpre Golden Eagles. You could tell it was going to be an intense game even before the tip, as there was some trash talk on Twitter, and the game did not disappoint. The first three quarters lived up to the hype, but you can pretty much throw those out since there were 4 more periods that led all the way up to triple overtime. Trimble led pretty much all of regulation, but Belpre remained close thanks to their ability to make shots beyond the perimeter. Justice Jenkins and Bryce got through with the usual stars for the Tomcats, both scoring over 20 points, but Jenkins was the hero, sinking the game-tying layup at the buzzer to send it to the first overtime. He really took the ball into his own hands and would refuse to let Belpre gain any edge on neither offense nor defense. Overtime was just as close and up-tempo as regulation. Both teams kept trading buckets, and the lead changed almost every possession, it seemed. Trimble eventually wore the Golden Eagles down, but it took until the third overtime for them to gain a comfortable lead for the victory, 87-83. We'll see if this win will give them some momentum going into the postseason.
We certainly will, Nick. Thanks for joining us. Tournament success is nothing new to the people out in Reedsville, so Ryan Lewis and Joe Fracasso have been following the Eastern Lady Eagles all season long. We know that their goal has been to get back to the heights that they've reached in the past few years.
That's right, Sean. The Lady Eagles have made it a recent habit to cut down the nets at sectionals, and this year was no different.
Joe, Eastern had the scissors ready to go after they defeated St. Joe 59-28. Laura Polens' play was once again the focal point for the squad as she finished with 23 points, and it looked effortless all day. She also had 6 rebounds as well.
You know, Ryan, it wasn't just Laura. The Lady Eagles jumped out to a 19-1 lead after the first quarter and held the Flyers to shoot only 21% in the game, playing great defense all day long. After the game, we talked with Polens, and she talked about how the team needed to come out focused because they haven't done so on occasions in the past, so it was crucial to do so in the playoffs.
Now, backpacking off of what Polens said, the Lady Eagles also need to hit on these 4 keys to continue their success. They need to get out ahead early and maintain. If they fall behind early, it's difficult for Eastern to come back, as they've shown in past games. On top of that, they need to continue the physical play on defense.
Completely agree, Ryan. Not to mention, they need to get Liz Collins involved down low early, so that opens up the shooters later on in the game. And then the final key is that they just need to keep turnovers at a minimum. Now switching over to the boys in Reedsville, they've hit a few more bumps in the road in the regular season than the girls have, and it continued over into the postseason. For the second time in 5 days, they matched up against the Southern Tornadoes, and for the second time, the Eagles were handed a loss, this time by a score of 52-48 in the sectional semifinals.
Going into the fourth, the Eagles were only down by 6, but could not stop Southern's Tyler Blevins or Crenson Rogers, who both finished with 19 points. Jet Facemeyer did his part, putting up 24, but the team needed more than just his performance to pull out the win.
Jet wasn't the only Eagle to do his part, as Dylan Swatzel did put up 11 points and 14 rebounds, but he shot only 3 of 8 from the charity stripe, and those misses were crucial in the loss. Not to mention the rest of the team only scoring 11 points, that just doesn't result in wins.
Now, despite the season ending on a sour note, overall there are plenty of positives to take away from their campaign. They more than doubled their total wins from the last 2 seasons combined, and they went 6-6 in the last 12 games after starting 0-9. Compared to the past seasons, this is a huge turnaround for Coach Hill.
No doubt about it, Ryan. However, next season will be a bit tougher to prepare for, with Jet Facemeyer being the only starting Eagle to return to the nest.
All right, we'll see if they can get on a roll like they did this year. Thanks, guys. If the written word is more your style, you can find written recaps of every tournament game that we cover over on our website, wub.org/heroes. Every video is also attached to that recap, and feel free to click around the site to stay up to date on what else is going on in your area. Alexander is no stranger to success, so here to talk some Spartan basketball, Alexander reporter Joseph Payton. Last Saturday, the Lady Spartans took down New Lexington in the sectional final, but they got off to a slow start.
A slow start indeed, Sean. It's right. It was 20-20 at halftime. Then the Lady Spartans turned up the defense in the second half, which led to some easy offense on the other end. They started the third quarter on a 15-2 run, forcing 6 turnovers in the process, and Jayla Mace was really the catalyst for the energy in the second half. She finished with 13 points in the game, and even Leah Richardson, after a rough 0-for-11 shooting performance in the first half, scored 14 points in the final 2 periods to help lift Alexander to a 47-39 win in a sectional championship. Now, Sean, the seniors chose to not cut down the nets after the game, and Coach McKnight was very happy with that decision. He even told me any championship win is nice, any tournament win is nice, but at the end of the day, we just expect to be where we are.
So they're really locked in the postseason. The boys are as well. They had 2 big wins this week.
That's right, 2 solid wins for them, Sean, earning a sectional title and a berth in the district tournament. They got started on Tuesday night with a 68-32 win over River Valley, and the game was pretty much out of hand from the get-go. The Spartans opened up the game on a 15-0 run and took a 32-14 lead into the locker room at halftime, and then Mason Chapman erased any chance of a comeback in the third quarter, going 5 for 5 from beyond the arc. He hit 7 total triples in the game with 23 points, taking his team into the sectional final against Minford on Friday.
So after being upset in last year's sectional final, it seems like the Spartans had some unfinished business.
Certainly some unfinished business. They made an early exit last year, falling to the number 10 seed Waverly Tigers last year, and they were not about to go down like that again. The Spartans claimed a 52-42 victory over the Minford Falcons on Friday, knocking down the door to get to the district tournament. And you could really tell Seth Richardson was excited to play in this one, as he dropped 17 on the Falcons, shooting 3 for 4 from long range and ripping down 4 rebounds. They'll now take on the Lucasville Valley Indians on February 28th in the district semifinal, and they've never won a district championship before, so we could see some history happening.
Could be a big opportunity for them. Thanks, Joseph. We are just about out of time, but before we take off, let's update you on the tournament brackets as of Friday night. In D3, Waverly District 2 and 3. Top-seeded Alexander Lady Spartans took on the Minford Lady Falcons. Also, 4-seed Nelsonville York takes on 2-seed North Adams tomorrow night at 8. Now moving over to Division 4, Jackson Regions 1 and 2, the Waterford Lady Wildcats hold the number 1 seed, face the 2-seed Notre Dame in the district final. The Eastern Lady Eagles played Fairfield Union yesterday afternoon, and that recap is online as well. Now switching over to the boys in D2, 4-seed Megs played Fairfield Union yesterday, and the 3-seed Vinne County Vikings beat Warren 54-52 on Friday. And in D3 as well, Alexander took down Minford Friday night and will play Valley next Sunday. In D4, Athens won. The Trimble Tomcats play St. Joe at Meigs High School. The winner of that game will play the winner of Peebles and Clay next Monday. And finally in D4, Miller and South Galley are still alive in the TVC, as well as Belpre. Belpre and Miller will play each other tomorrow night, and the Rebels will play Racine Southern on Tuesday. So unfortunately, it is time for our final Hero of the Week segment. So we're going to bring back Danny and Josh to reveal their picks. Josh, we'll start with you.
With only a few of our girls' teams still making a run in the tournament, my choices for the final Hero of the Week were narrowed, but the obvious pick comes out of Reedsville in junior guard Laura Polans. She led her team over St. Joseph Central 59-28 last Saturday with 23 points and 6 rebounds. She also scored 14 of those in the first half to put the Lady Eagles ahead by 22 points. But if that wasn't impressive enough, she only missed 2 shots from the field. She was central to everything Eastern did, whether it was putting up shots, setting other teammates up for open shots, or putting up strong defense. Pullins did it all. On the defensive end, the Lady Eagles didn't allow the Lady Flyers to sink a field goal until halfway through the second quarter, and much of the credit to that goes to Pullins. She leads by example on the court, and after losing Madison Williams earlier on in the season, a lot of pressure fell into Pullins to help lead this team.
She really handled that pressure, so congrats, Laura. You definitely deserve it. Now, all right, it's time for my boys pick, and I'm not going to waste any time. Jordan Albright is the boys' hero of the week. This Vinton County senior shooting guard is no stranger to tournament play, and his experience is paying off for the Vikings. Albright played as the first guard off the bench as a freshman, so this is his 4th time in the tournament. And it's really easy to see because he plays with this confidence and this focus that only comes with maturity. In the Vikings game against Sheridan, he racked up a double-double. He led all scorers with 25 points and grabbed 10 rebounds. And look out for this guy on defense as well. In that same game, he had 2 steals and a block. And the Vikings had one of their toughest matchups on Friday, and Albright helped his team beat Warren 54-52 to get a ticket to the Convocation Center. So the Vikings are moving on, but unfortunately, we are moving on from crowning the heroes of the week, but exciting things are still to come. Next week, we reveal the 2016 All-Hero team.
So tweet at us with some players who you think should make the roster, and tune in next week to see who made the team.
All right, guys, I can't wait to see whose hard work has paid off with a spot on your All-Hero team, so be sure to tweet at them, and you can also tweet to our Hardwood Heroes account with your suggestions. And with that, episode 7 of season 7 has come to a close. Next week is our final show back at our normal time of 11 p.m. We will reveal our All-Hero teams, update you on all of the teams still in the tournament, and look back and ahead on all of the teams that we cover. Until next week, though, I'm your host, Sean Neidig, reminding you to be heroic.